Hey, good afternoon from wherever you may be listening. Welcome to George Sparky Anderson Park for some Saturday action here in the California Collegiate League as we have the Conejo Oaks versing the MLB Academy Barons alongside Sammy Fawn. I'm Gito Kanyas, and this is a much-needed get-back game for the Oaks, who just suffered a tough loss 14-3 on the road versus the Riptide, handing them their second straight loss on the road of the season. And for the Barons, they're coming off a great win, 20-4 against the Slow Blues. Sammy, what are you looking for when you talk about the Oaks coming into this performance after what we saw on the road last night?
Well, yeah, you said it. It was a brutal 14-3 loss for the Conejo Oaks, and, they're coming into today not happy at all about yesterday's loss. They got basically shut out by the Orange County Riptide. They scored a few runs. It was their first time playing the Orange County Riptide, but the Oaks saw some great pitching from the Riptide, and the Oaks know that they need to step up both their pitching and their offense, and especially against the MLB Academy Barons, who yesterday in a 20-4 win against the San Luis Obispo Blues, it's the most runs that the team has scored in their history, and the most since their previous record in June 23rd of 2021. It was actually against the Conejo Oaks at MLB Youth Academy. The Barons scored 18 runs against the Oaks. It was an 18-10 win for the Barons. And so today, the Barons just snapped a 4-game losing streak with their win yesterday. So, both of these teams with high expectations to play some good baseball today.
Certainly, these two teams familiar with each other already. Now, this is the fifth meeting between the Oaks and the Barons. Right now, the Oaks lead this series 3-1, and this is the start of a 2-game series. We'll see the Barons tomorrow, but that time on the road at the MLB Youth Academy. But as we get things started here for the Oaks, it's Alex Umland making his first start of the summer, the sophomore out of Oregon, on the mound for the Oaks as they wear their baby blues today. And then getting us started for the Barons, that is Nathaniel Williams, the leadoff man, someone that the Oaks are quite familiar with. He hit the first home run that the Oaks pitching staff allowed this season last Friday.
Yeah, Nathaniel Williams leads the MLB Academy Barons in both batting average, batting .500, and home runs with 2 on the season so far.
So as things get started here, we welcome you to George Sparky Anderson Field as it's a beautiful Saturday here in Thousand Oaks. The first pitch outside for a ball. Yeah, like you said, Sammy, Nathaniel Williams has been the star when you talk about the Barons this season. He has 2 home runs. And this team, as in general, the Barons are generating a lot of their runs off long balls, as that one is fouled off. Now count 1-1. And let's get to this batting order here for the Barons. Nathaniel Williams right now at the plate is the leadoff man. He'll be playing third base today. DJ Akiyama at the 2-hole. Trevor Schmidt, Gavin Taylor, and then at the DH positions, Tommy Gooden. And then it's Jason Del Villar out in left field, Jacob Klinowski in right field, Chip Mertz at second base as that one is grounded to Gonzalez. He collects, fires to first, and there's the first out.
That's a great play by Ethan Gonzalez as he was moving to his right and sort of up the middle from his angle to the infield, and the way he fields that ball, just flat hand, and then having to make the quick turn as his momentum is taking him away from the first base bag, but great range by Gonzalez at second base to get it to Johnson at first for the out.
Yeah, I'd say second base is kind of the position we've seen the most players go through. We saw Dawson there play second base last night in their loss versus the Riptide. We've seen Hewitt as well. A few other guys take role at second base. And then finishing off is Hunter Backstrom in the 9-hole for the Barons. As that is out in there for a strike. 0-1.
Yeah, as a former second baseman myself, get used to me being excited every time we talk about second base.
Goes for the bunt. Fouls that into the dirt. So counts now 0-2 as Akiyama's behind. And yeah, like we said, Alex Umland, the current in the transfer portal, I should say. He spent his freshman season at Oregon.
Last time we saw Umland pitch was last week on June 14th against the Barons. What was a 6-3 win last Saturday?
As that one's hit high into right field, and Daniewicz is going to get under it and makes the play for the second out as he shows off his range, coming all the way from right field into about center field, making the play.
Yeah, nice range by Daniewicz, and he had to take some last-second steps there as he shifted into right center field, and also, probably fighting the sun a little bit from that angle.
And so now that brings up Trevor Schmidt here for the Barons. Takes a strike on the outside corner. And so if you're an Oaks fan, the one positive thing you could take away after yesterday's loss is the Oaks this season have yet to lose back-to-back games, as that's in the dirt for a ball, 1-1.
Yeah, that, and also, if you've never been to Great Park in Irvine before, I highly, highly recommend it. It is a gorgeous place. I mean, each sports facilities section alone, there's, I don't even know how many baseball fields, and there's different soccer fields and softball fields. You got the tennis courts, behind the baseball's facilities, and right across the street is the water park.
Yeah, they have 11 baseball fields and 24 soccer fields. It is a kid's dreamland. The 1-2. That's inside for a ball. Count now even at 2. Let's get to your defensive here, as it's now Anthony Thomas behind the dish, making his first start since June 8th of this season. In the infield, it's Nolan Johnson, Ethan Gonzalez at second, Brady Hewitt at short, and Zach Moore at third base. It's interesting to note that Brady Hewitt is now filling in at the shortstop role. We saw him at DH last night against the Riptide. He's typically been the shortstop, but he's coming off what was a broken nose in Tuesday's loss versus the Saints. And then in your outfield, you have Jack Jimenez now filling at left field, as that's fouled off by Schmidt. Kendallinger, who had the day off yesterday, in center field, and Daniewicz back at right field for a second straight day. And you said it before the game, Jack Jimenez has now basically gone right to left when it comes. That's actually Jack Jimenez, I should say.
Yeah, we've seen him at each outfield position now.
2-2. Schmidt takes the ball upstairs. Counts now full here.
Yeah, I mean, I will say with Brady Hewitt moving back to short, if you were watching the game on Tuesday, took a chopper that just took a bad hop and hit him right dead on in the nose. And he was out for a game and then played as the designated hitter yesterday.
That one's fouled off. Count now still at 3-2. Yeah, and for the Yokes, it's been kind of a rough week. They are 1-2 on the week, just their solo win coming on Wednesday when they actually played the Barons and scored a season high. As that's ripped to right field. That's high. Daniewicz goes back to the wall. That ball is gone. So Trevor Schmidt with his second home run of the season and gives the Barons a 1-0 lead here to get things started in the first inning.
Boy, that was a beautiful swing and piece of hitting by Trevor Schmidt. He just got a hold of that ball. He had to, looked like he sort of reached for it a tad, but got the barrel of the bat out in front and just hooked it down the right field line, right into the trees, and the Barons up 1-0.
Yeah, all Daniewicz could really do is watch as that ball glided over the right fence with all the Kowloon banners.
And that's the third Baron who has homered against the Oaks.
It's now 8 total home runs this season for the Barons. It's in there for a strike, brings on Gavin Taylor, the catcher for the Barons, as he's currently batting .286 with 5 runs and 6 hits. He also has 1 home run. He got the home run last night in their 20-4 win. Like Sammy said, it's the biggest win in their program history. So 0-2 early here to Taylor. Umlin deals as Taylor checks his swing, but it's low for a ball. 1-2.
Last year, the Barons' biggest victory was again against the Conejo Oaks. It was on July 23rd. It was a 16-4 victory.
1-2 to Taylor. Swing and a miss, and down goes Taylor as Umlin gets his first strikeout. We head to the bottom of the first inning. Barons 1, Oaks 0. We head into the bottom of the first inning as it's the Oaks making their first plate appearances, starting off with Tommy Kendillinger, the center fielder, who currently is second in runs for the Oaks with 6. He had the day off yesterday. We last saw him versus the Barons in that 19-6 win on Wednesday. He was 0 for 2, 2 runs and 3 walks. So back in action today on a beautiful Saturday here in Thousand Oaks, as he takes a strike in the upper part of that zone. And I'll go through the batting order now for the Oaks here on Saturday. It's Jax Jimenez out in left field at the 2-hole. Lucas Daniewicz at right field, as that one's pushed high into shallow right field. And Chip Mertz under it to get the first out.
Well, it's interesting to think how Kendlinger, you mentioned him having the night off last night, see how fresh he can be coming into today.
And the Oaks will need his bat, as the Oaks were just held to 3 total hits in yesterday's loss. It's the lowest hit total the Oaks have seen all season. Even in a shutout loss versus the Saints, they had 13 hits. As that's grounded to second, Mertz collects, he fires to first, and 2 down quick for the Oaks, as that now brings on Lucas Daniewicz.
Daniewicz got the Kings or the Oaks offense started yesterday. He had that leadoff triple on the first pitch he saw in the first inning, and then he scored what for about 5 innings was the only run for the Oaks. He came home on a sac fly by Galloway, who is not in the starting lineup tonight.
Daniewicz takes a ball outside, and then finishing off the order, Wilkes is filling in as the DH today at the 4. Nolan Johnson at first base, Brady Hewitt at short, Zach Moore at third base, Anthony Thomas at catcher, and then at the 9-hole, it's Ethan Gonzalez. 2-0 Daniewicz.
Lucas Daniewicz, very strong, versatile player for the Kingsmen. Talked about him yesterday, first team All-SCIAC in the 2025 season.
It's outside for a ball, so 3 straight balls here from Frankie Lopez, making his 3rd appearance of the season. His last appearance actually came versus the Oaks. He's currently 0 for 1 on the year, as that's inside for a strike. It's a late call by the umpire, but 3-1 to Daniewicz. Frankie Lopez right now has a 1.12 ERA. Daniewicz chops that as Lopez gets under it. He's going to toss it over to first, and that gets the 3rd out. So 3 up, 3 down to start the bottom of the first inning. We head to the top as the Barons keep a 1-0 lead. We head into the second inning as Tommy Gooden to get things started, and the Barons already with a 1-0 lead on a solo shot from Trevor Schmidt. Went over the right field fence, and it's Alex Umland beginning his second inning of action. It's outside for a ball. Alex Umland, like we mentioned, he is currently in the transfer portal. He redshirted his only season at Oregon University. He played at Windward High School. That's crushed into center field. Tommy Kendlinger has to move to his right a little and gets the grab to get the first out.
Nice range right there by Tommy Kendlinger, and something that perhaps the Oaks missed yesterday, but see him track this ball right from the beginning, and a nice leap. He has enough height to leap up and grab it. And, you know, if that ball lands, that's at least an extra base.
Brings up Jason Del Villar, batting .333 on the season with 9 hits and 2 runs, as well as 5 RBIs. As that pitch gets over Villar's head, he has to duck down, so 1-0. Umland was the number 11 right-handed pitcher in California in 2024, according to Prep Baseball Report. That's hit on high into right field. Daniewicz moves all the way over to his right, and he gets the second out. So 2 down quickly for the Barons, as that now brings up Jacob Klinowski, who last time we saw the Barons, it was Klinowski who hit a solo shot home run in the second inning. It was his only home run of the season.
And that shot for sure was a no-doubter over the right field wall, right into the trees. Pretty sure it may have made contact with the protective screen that stretches from the visitors' dugout all the way into right center field.
I think you'd be right. It's in the dirt. Count now 0-2 for Klinowski. Here comes the payoff from Umland. As that's grounded to Gonzalez, he gets under it, pitches it over to first base, and that gets the third out. So 3 down, 3 up for the Barons as we head to the bottom of the second. And coming up to the plate is Devin Wilkes as we begin the bottom of the second inning here at George Sparky Anderson Field. And on the mound for his second inning of work is Frankie Lopez, a current rising junior at Utah Valley University, where he posted a 3.37 ERA as that's driven into center field. Backstrom just gets there in time for the first out, so 1 pitch, 1 out for the Oaks, and that brings up Nolan Johnson. So 4 batters retired to start the game for the Oaks by Frankie Lopez.
Yeah, Lopez made a good pitch there, and it was well struck by Wilkes, but he hit it right to Backstrom. And, you know, Frankie Lopez, he's made 2 appearances, one against the Bombers on June 6th as it's a strike to Johnson, and then, you know, his loss to the Oaks last Saturday, 6-3 win for the Oaks.
0-1. Johnson rips that into right center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. It's going to get off the wall, and he's going to round it for 2. As they collect, he's going for 3, and here he comes. And the throw is not in time as it gets over the head of Williams. So a triple from Johnson as that gets the first hit of the game for the Oaks.
That would be Johnson's first triple of the summer and his 8th hit this summer, second extra base hit, and he has really been stepping up ever since Nate Johnson went down with the shoulder injury. You know, this is now, you saw him in last night's game as well. This is his 6th game that he's played in this summer, and he has been swinging the bat really well.
So brings up Brady Hewitt. Takes a strike. And yeah, Brady Hewitt, now we're seeing that shortstop today, was the DH yesterday where he went 0 for 3. An opportunity to bring in a runner here. It's outside for ball, 1-1.
It's interesting to see how back the infield is. Any ground ball that's hit, just well enough for the Oaks can tie the game.
Swing and a miss for Hewitt, 1-2. And get to your defense real quick. It's Gavin Taylor behind the dish for the Barons, Trevor Schmidt at first base, Chip Mertz at second, Nathaniel Williams at third, DJ Akiyama at short. As Hewitt chops that foul. And then in your outfield, it's left to right. Jason Del Villar, Hunter Backstrom, and Jacob Klinowski are the Barons outfielders today. And I think, you look back at yesterday's game, the Oaks just didn't have many opportunities to really score runs with not many runners in scoring position. Swing and a miss from Brady Hewitt as he's going to go down in strikes. And now it's 2 outs for the Barons, bringing up Zach Mora.
Zach Mora got the start at shortstop yesterday, went down via way of the K 3 times when 0 for 3 was also hit by a pitch.
Yeah, the Riptide pitching was very strong in their win yesterday. Mora takes a strike low, 0-1.
Yeah, some might say the Oaks got caught in the Riptide.
In fact, Oak batters there was 0-1. It's outside for a ball, 1-1. There was a part of that game where it had been 13 straight Oak batters that got retired between the second and sixth inning. And that's what I mean, they just did not have runners in scoring position to even have an opportunity to bring in a runner. 1-1. Mora whacks that foul as it goes outside of the field. 1-2 here to Mora. Things that the Barons and the Oaks have in common this season is they are both winless on the road. The Barons are 0-5, the Oaks 0-2. 1-2 to Mora. That's swung on high into right field. Klinowski gets under it. He makes the play. That's the third out. So Lopez gets out with no runs earned. And we head to the top of the third. 1-0, Barons. And welcome back here to George Sparky Anderson Field as it is a beautiful 72-degree day on a Saturday afternoon as we get the third inning underway in Week 3 action of the California Collegiate League. As it is Chip Mertz to get things started here. His first appearance today as he's batting .278 on the season with 5 hits. Swung on, fouled off that to the left. 0-1 to Mertz. And so that loss yesterday of 14 total runs was tied for the most the Oaks had given up this season. They had also given up 14 runs to the Santa Barbara Foresters 2 Saturdays ago. That's in there for a strike as Umlin chooses to go with the slider.
Yeah, and that first one, against the Foresters, and that first loss for the Oaks, I think you could argue it was a good loss against, such a high-ranked competitive team.
Gonzalez pitches it over to Johnson, gets the first out. A good backhand play right there by Gonzalez as it's 1 down. Bringing up the bottom of the order here, Hunter Backstrom. Batting .269 on the season. He's tied for 4th on the team with hits, which is 7. Second on the team in doubles. And he's someone that the Oaks are familiar with, as he is a threat when he gets on the base. Takes the ball high, 1-0.
I might also add that he has a great range in center field, a lot of speed, and that fly ball he caught off of Wilkes' bat, he didn't really have to move much off of that one, but certainly a very fast runner and well suited as an outfielder.
Backstrom he's appeared in swing and a miss, 1-2. He's appeared in 3 of the 4 matchups between the Barons and Oaks. He missed, or he should say he didn't start in Wednesday's loss. 1-2 to Backstrom. That's high for a ball. Count now even at 2. And so the Oaks and Barons, it's their 5th meeting. The Oaks right now 3-1 in those 4 meetings between the Barons. That's in the dirt. Count now full here for Backstrom. And yeah, both the Oaks and the Barons were up until this point, are 1-2 on the week. That's swung on high off to the left. That's Moore goes back to get it. And that drops just foul. As Moore makes a good attempt out there to get there, pretty much ran all the way to where the bullpen is for the Oaks.
Yeah, and I think the wind started picking up as that ball was hit, and that ball sort of twisted away from Zach Mora and ended up closer to Jax Jimenez.
Yeah, the wind has certainly picked up here. It's going about 10 miles per hour due east. That's grounded as Moore gets under it. He fires to first, and the throw is in time. So 2 batters for the Barons, 2 down. As that now brings back to the top of the order, Nathaniel Williams, who is another guy that is all too familiar to this Oaks team.
That was a very nice play by Zach Mora, arranging to his left, and everything pretty much had to be perfect from a defensive side. The way he scooped that ball and gunned down a very fast runner in Backstrom.
Outside for a ball. Nathaniel Williams in his first plate appearance, grounded out to second. Looking to get a hit here. He leads the team in doubles with 4. 1-0. Swing and a miss. 1-1. And our only score of the game thus far has been a solo shot in the first inning by Trevor Schmidt. Sent that over the right field fence. That's outside for a ball. So it's now 3 out of 4 games that the Barons have homered against the Oaks, all of them being in the last 3 meetings. It's upstairs for another ball. 3-1 to Williams. So it'll be a hitter's pitch here.
Yeah, Williams certainly, he's a strong guy at the plate and very quick hands. He can rip that ball anywhere.
That's chop foul off to the right. Due up is DJ Akiyama for the Barons. And the Barons, they are struggling this season, just sitting at 3-7, while the Oaks are 7-4 right now, second place in the South Division in the CCL. 3-2. Williams chops that foul once again. It is the Santa Barbara Foresters who continue to show their power, sitting at 9-1. It's the Oaks at 7-4 and the Arroyo Seco Saints at 6-4, who the Oaks will travel on Tuesday to Jackie Robinson Memorial Field. And then the OC Riptide at 6-5. That's your top 4. As that's outside for a ball, so a 2-out walk there for Nathaniel Williams. to keep the the Barons, I should say, alive in this third inning.
Well, with a 1-run lead here and a 2-out walk, think back to the bottom of the second inning, the Oaks failed to capitalize with a runner at third and 1 out, and we'll see if the Barons with a 2-out walk have built enough momentum to score a run.
So with 2 outs now, DJ Akiyama, who bunts that over to the left side. Mora does not make the throw in time, and so a single the infield single for DJ Akiyama as he shows off his wheels, and now that's 2 straight batters to reach base for the Barons with 2 outs.
Well, that's about as beautiful as a bunt as you can lay down. I mean, Akiyama got a great, perfect pitch outside for him, bunted it straight, down the line, right on the grass, and Mora, as fast as he charged in, he was definitely caught off guard and had no shot at Akiyama at first or Williams at second.
So it's now Trevor Schmidt who grounds that to second. Gonzalez gets under it, pitches it over to Johnson. That's the 3rd out. So with 3 outs, the Oaks leave 2 stranded on base. We head to the bottom of the 3rd, still 1-0 Barons. We'll be right back. And it's the bottom of the 3rd inning getting underway as it's Anthony Thomas here, and this inning is brought to you by Pizza Man Dan's in Moore Park, California on 144 West Los Angeles Avenue. And so it's Anthony Thomas, like I mentioned earlier, he's now making his first start since June 8th. We saw him in a pinch hitting role last night as he was 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout. He takes a strike, 0-1 here in the inside corner.
Something always nice about seeing both Galloway and Thomas in the lineup throughout the game, both talented hitters and catchers.
Thomas takes a ball outside, 1-1 here for Thomas, and it's the Oaks back in their baby blues as it's the Barons in their away all grays. 1-1 to Thomas. Swing and a miss, 1-2. And yeah, I mean, I talked about it earlier, but I think, when you look at the 2 losses this week for the Oaks, they're very different losses, even though one was a shutout and the other was a blowout. As Thomas takes a ball in the dirt, 2-2. In that shutout loss versus the Saints, it wasn't like the Oaks just got dominated. It was self-inflicted wounds. They couldn't take advantage of runners in scoring position. We saw multiple times, back-to-back innings, in fact, where bases were loaded. And then in Friday night's loss, it just was the complete opposite. As that's ground to third base, Williams gets under it. He fires to first, and the throw is in time for the first out as Thomas gave it his best to get there. So 1 down for the Oaks.
Certainly gave it his best. What more can you do, especially, as a catcher. Catchers not particularly known for their speed simply because of the amount of crouching down they have to do, which really takes a toll on your knees.
Yeah, I only played 1 summer of catcher, and I can attest to that. I've been there for a strike as it's 0-1 to Gonzalez. He's currently batting .240 with 4 runs. Last time we saw him was the game against the Saints on Tuesday. That's low for a ball. 1-1 to Gonzalez. And just finishing up the point was it was a game where we just saw the dominance of the OC Riptide pitchers just completely shut out the Oaks in any fashion. That swing and a miss from Gonzalez, now 1-2.
Yeah, I mean, their pitching, they were really on top of those Oaks hitters, and just a few runs allowed, but they were dominant.
Gonzalez just gets a piece of that to foul it off to the right, so count stays at 1-2. As currently as a team, or a pitching staff, I should say, the Barons post a 7.22 ERA. 1-2. Gonzalez takes the ball outside. Count now even at 2. So the Oaks have had one opportunity thus far to bring in a runner. It was a triple by Nolan Johnson. Was left stranded after the next 2 batters were retired. It's outside for another ball. Count now full. If you're just joining us, the Barons lead 1-0 as it was a first inning home run, a solo shot from Trevor Schmidt to get his second home run of the season. Gonzalez just gets another piece of that to foul it off to the backstop. And Caden Beloyan collects. By the way, happy birthday to Caden Beloyan. It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday, Caden. Yeah, all 3 of the home runs that the Oaks have allowed have been against the Barons.
Gonzalez swings, and that's fouled this time behind the field.
There was a guy yesterday, I believe it was, there were a couple of guys, but I think Jonathan Rodriguez and Carter Dance came close to hitting the ball out. Ball's up against the wall. They certainly had the height, just came up a little short.
Payoff from Lopez. Gonzalez takes the ball outside, and he'll take a walk. It's a 1-out walk for Gonzalez, as that now brings us back to the top of the order with Tommy Kendlinger, as he popped out to second base in his first plate appearance today. Kendlinger takes a strike. 0-1. Tommy Kendlinger currently at Biola University, a rising senior, as he takes another ball outside. Has one older brother, Brandon, this past season. Yeah, he was at Biola. He also spent the 2024 season with the Oaks. Batting average of .337, as there's a check at first. He had 92 at-bats, 31 hits, 18 RBIs, as well as 18 strikeouts. So he was part of that 2024 championship team. Played 3 years varsity at Buena High School. It's outside for a ball, 2-1 to Ken Dillinger.
Yeah, and he's a guy that, obviously the Oaks are grateful to have him back, and not just because of his talents, but demonstrates great character. But I mean, for him to come about a week or 2 into the season and shine the way he has is pretty cool.
Off goes Gonzalez. He's going to slide, as there's no play made at second base. The ball just kind of flipped out of Taylor's hand. He tried to make the play, just couldn't.
Yeah, I think he struggled to get that ball out of his glove and get a firm grip on it.
Saw that a few times with the Oaks last night. Guys just, different situations. Ground balls hit towards them. 2-2 for Ken Dillinger. Fouls that off to the right. Count remains at 2-2. Before being at Biola, he spent 2 seasons at Allen Hancock College. Made 2 regional appearances both years. Was second team All-Western State Conference, as well as the Western State Conference Gold Glove recipient. With 2-2. Fouls that off to the backstop. Count remains at 2-2. And due up here for the Oaks is Jax Jimenez, now making his 4th straight start.
Yeah, Caden Beloyan really smiling as he gets his runs in to fetch those foul balls that go to the backstop, especially when they're right at that corner to a little more to the right side of the middle of the screen and the backstop. It's certainly a good run. We've seen races at Sparky Anderson Field between like Kingsman players and the other teams, and even heard some reactions at times when a Kingsman baseball player doesn't beat the opposing player.
Kendallinger gets a good piece of that, whips that into center field. Backstrom moves forward, he makes the play, and there's the second out. Gonzalez stays at second base. Well, Boulogne we won't see today. He was the starting pitcher yesterday for the Oaks. It's Jax Jimenez with 2 outs and a runner on second base. He grounded out his first time today at the plate. Takes a strike. 0-1. Jimenez, a current player at Oregon University, had 231 this past season. Takes a ball in the dirt, count now even at 1.
He's a guy who's also, very distinctly showing his emergence both at the plate and in the field. We see him, come about or get his first start a couple weeks into the season, an appearance.
Takes another ball upstairs. It's now 2-1. Yeah, last summer he played for the Lincoln Potters in the Pacific Empire League. It's out of Whitney High School, where he's ranked the 2nd player in California. That's grounded foul off to the right, and first base coach Jose Valle has to move over not to get hit. Count now even at 2 for Jimenez. If you're just joining us, I'm Jude O'Connors alongside Sammy Fawn here for the Saturday action in the California Collegiate League as we have the Barons facing off versus the Oaks. It's a 2-2 count to Jimenez with a runner on second, 2 outs. Takes the ball outside. Count's now full. And the only win this week for the Oaks was a record day as they set a single season run total of 19. Jimenez whips that foul, so count remains full. That was versus the Barons on Wednesday. That was also, well, before yesterday, I should say, the longest game that the Oaks had played. It was 3 hours and 30 minutes, and then the Oaks played the Riptide and invested that with a 3-hour, 40-minute mark. Full count here to Jimenez. Gets a good piece as he pushes a fly ball out into center field. Backstrom moves all the way to his left. Makes the 3rd out, and so the Oaks once again leave base runners stranded, and we head to the top of the 4th inning. The Barons still ahead, 1-0. And this game has been going quickly as we head to the top of the 4th inning, and it's Gavin Taylor, who was the 2025 All-Western State Conference first team. As a catcher, he is committed to play at UNLV next season. Spent the past season at Los Angeles Valley College. So he takes a ball inside. Struck out his first time at the plate today. That was Umland's only strikeout thus far today. He's now in his 4th inning of action for the Oaks in his first start of the summer. 1-0. That's in the dirt. 2-0 to now Taylor.
Yeah, Gavin Taylor in the starting lineup. His brother Colin not in the starting lineup tonight. Or today. He was in the starting lineup the last time these two teams faced each other. Went 2 for 4 with 2 singles.
It's in there for a strike now. 2-1 for Taylor. Due up for the Barons is Tommy Gooden, the DH. Gooden, I should say, and Jason Del Villar, their left fielder. As that's just grounded foul. Johnson tries to get over there. And as we have a little bit of a break, we'll get you some injury news if you've missed any of the recent games for the Oaks. Jonathan Smith still dealing with a fractured jaw. He is going to be out extended period of time. And then Nate Johnson, who today is in street clothes, not dressed today for the Oaks, battling a left shoulder injury that he actually injured versus the Barons last Friday. That's inside for another ball. So count now runs full for Taylor.
Yeah, and again, sure you've heard it if you've been listening in previously, but Nate Johnson, he just took a big swing and his shoulder was bothering him.
Yeah, he went. That's high for a ball. So a leadoff walk for Taylor. And I was just say, yeah, he fell down instantaneously. It was not, he kind of battled through it. No, he went down right away. So praying for the best for all the players. And a guy like Brady Hewitt, who's now playing shortstop today, is only a few days removed from breaking his nose. That brings up Tommy Gooden out of Vanderbilt. And I'll say he has a pretty good support. He has a pretty good fan section here today. There's quite a few, family members, friends, all wearing Vanderbilt gear in the Barons fan section as that one's chopped foul. Currently a rising sophomore at Vanderbilt. Didn't make any appearances last season. Played at Camarillo High School, where he was ranked the #1 first baseman in California, and by the perfect game in 2024 was also perfect game California all-region first team. So lots of potential at the plate right now for the Barons. 0-2 now with the runner on first. Swing and a miss. Down goes Gooden swinging, and that's the second strikeout here for Umland in his first career start.
Good sequence of pitching by Umland. For him to record his second strikeout. He's allowed just 1 run. Seems to have recovered pretty nicely from his first inning lapse, giving up that home run to Trevor Schmidt. He's allowed just 2 hits so far.
Yeah, one of those being the home run that Trevor Schmidt hit in the first inning. Now brings up Jason Del Villar, the righty from Sonoma State, the rising junior. Takes the ball upstairs. Count now 1-0. Spent the past 2 seasons at San Bernardino Valley College. In 2024, he had 32 runs, 52 hits, 45 RBIs. He takes a strike in the inner part of that zone. Count now runs even at 1. Just 1 out for the Oaks here in the 4th inning. It's a beautiful day here in Thousand Oaks, California, 72 degrees. Good amount of wind, though, I will say. Running 10 miles per hour due east. Villar checks his swing. They're going to call it a ball, so that was upstairs for another ball as it's 2-1 now to Villar. So the Oaks scoreless through 3 innings thus far. Just 1 run in total. Barons lead 1-0. 2-1 to Villar. It's in there for another strike. 2-2.
Yeah, certainly a different sky scenery from yesterday's game. And, I will say it. I think it might have been by the 2nd or 3rd inning when the lights started coming on at the baseball stadium at Great Park.
That's popped foul off behind the field. Yeah, it was one of the best amateur ballparks I've been to in my life, if not the best. I mean, it was on the level of a minor league team. I mean, they had...
I was just going to say, yeah.
Yeah, they have all the, break antics with, player games, and they had fans, coming out doing some games, as the Oaks do have here, but it was a little more extravagant, as it's a 2-2 count to Del Villar. Takes the ball in the dirt as he remains patient here at the plate for his second time today. He flew out to right field. So count now full for Del Villar as Gavin Taylor on first base. Just one out for the Oaks here. It's upstairs for another ball, and so another walk in this inning. That makes it 2 as Taylor will advance to second, and Del Villar will get on base for the first time today, bringing up Jacob Klinowski.
And out to the mound goes the Oaks pitching coach, Scott Radinsky. Check on Umland. He's walked 2 batters this inning. He's certainly bringing up some traffic this inning, and Barron's certainly in business. 2 runners on, still a 1-run lead.
Yeah, in the game that he played on June 14th versus the Barons, he just pitched 2 innings and only allowed 1 walk. So now he's allowed 3 today. Had 1 strikeout in the 8 batters he faced in that win versus the Barons on the 14th of June. So Jacob Klinowski, he grounded out to second the first time we saw him today. An opportunity to add more to this Barons lead. He has 3 RBIs on the season. First pitch here. Takes the ball outside. Klinowski, one of 6 players with a home run for the Oaks. The Barons. Takes a strike right over the plate there by Umland. Well, we have yet to see him, but Gabe Howard is another sophomore that spent his freshman season at Oregon, both right-handed pitchers. It's in the dirt for a ball. 2-0 to Klinowski. Two-one. So runners on first and second for the Barons. Just 1 out in this top of the 4th inning. Klinowski takes another strike. 2-2 now. So the last meeting between the Barons and the Oaks will be July 8th. They face off against the Barons tomorrow as well. That's swung on as Johnson just traps it under. Pitches over to Umland. The throw is in time. Bang, bang right there, but that gets the second out for the Oaks. Runners do advance for the Barons. And that was a close call, as Johnson did a good job of just shielding the ball in front of him, not letting it roll into right field, and Umland with great awareness to run all the way over to first base and get the out.
Yeah, nice play at first base. You see Nolan Johnson not block the ball down, couldn't pick it up on the fly at first, but he did not panic. He realized that he was not going to turn a double play at that point, but he had to just get the sure out at first base. That's what he did. The Barons still a chance to score here.
Yeah, it's Chip Mertz now, the second baseman for the Barons. So it's runners on second and third for the Barons, as Mertz just fouls that off his foot. He's now wobbling and trying to walk it off. So he's in a good amount of pain. So it's 2 outs here for the Oaks, and now it's getting a quick meeting from the Barons skipper, Ken Landreau, making sure his player is all right.
Yeah, he had to have hit that one off himself pretty hard for him to be shaken up the way he is. Looked like it went square against his shin.
Yeah, he's still trying to shake that one off, and do what he can. And it looks like now he will return to action. Ken Landreau will return back as the Barons skipper played in the MLB as a right-hand pitcher for 11 years. 7-0 with the Dodgers, part of the 1981 infamous Dodgers team that won that World Series. He was selected in the first round of the 1976 MLB draft. And in fact, in that 1981 World Series, he caught the final out versus the Yankees. We saw a revival of that matchup in the last World Series. 0-1 now to Mertz. Runners on second and third, 2 down. Mertz rips that into left field as Jimenez tries to get over there, and that's going to just go foul. So runners now reverse back.
Yeah, that was foul just by a couple inches. Definitely would have been more trouble for the Oaks if that lands fair. That's at least a run.
Yeah, Jimenez was a little slow getting out of his post. Yeah, like you said, it definitely would have scored at least 1 run there for the Barons. But counts now 0-2 for Chip Mertz. Has 5 hits on the season, just 2 RBIs. 2 of those hits have been gone for doubles. The payoff from Umland. Gets him swinging for the 3rd strike, and now that's his 3rd strikeout as he now leaves 2 stranded on for the Barons, and we head to the bottom of the 4th. Still 1-0. We'll be right back. Up comes Lucas Daniewicz here in the bottom of the 4th inning, and this inning is brought to you by Pizza Man Dan's in Moore Park, California. And Daniewicz started the season on a 6-game hitting streak. He has recorded a hit in the 7 of the 8 games he's played. He actually had one of the only bright spots for the Oaks last night, had 3 hits. 1 triple as he just pops that right into Mertz's glove. Mertz is still kind of wobbling on that foot that he hit last inning, but that is 1 down for the Barons.
Yeah, and that frustration from him after hitting that foul ball off of himself, it certainly translated into his strikeout. You saw him, sort of slam the bat a little bit just out of frustration, but certainly hope he's okay.
As Wilkes rips that just foul off to the left. Soft little hit. So 0-1 here to Wilkes, who flew out to center field his first time. It was a 1-pitch out. So he just grounds that to Williams. It's a slow one as Williams collects, fires to first, and the throw is in time to get the 2nd out. So 2 batters, 2 down for the Oaks. Now brings us back Nolan Johnson, who has the only hit of the day for the Oaks. It was a triple in the 2nd inning.
Yeah, he gapped that right into right center field, and you know, the way he was running, you could tell out of the box he was thinking 3, and you know, and that high throw to third by Chip Mertz, he was lucky that Frankie Lopez was backing him up.
In there for a strike, just hits the inside part of the strike zone for an 0-1 now to Johnson.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he's been instrumental, you know, stepping up with his brother going down with the shoulder injury.
Looks at a ball outside. Yeah, you're correct. He is leading the Oaks in batting average this summer, .538. Also third on the team with 7 hits. 1-1. Looks at another ball in the dirt. 2-1. Now to Johnson. Yeah, so it's just been 1 hit through pretty much 3 2/3 innings for the Oaks. Chops that off left foul ball. Count now even at 2 for Johnson. Yeah, his twin brother Nate Johnson also on this team. Currently at the University of Miami. Johnson grounds that to short as that's Akiyama who gets under it, and the throw is in time to first base as that's a retired side there by Lopez, and we head to the 5th inning. The Barons still ahead, 1-0. And it's now the 5th inning here at George Sparky Anderson Field as we're just pretty much hit the 1 hour mark of this game. It's Hunter Backstrom, the bottom of the order, to get things started. And on the mound is Daniel Morg for his 4th appearance this summer. Has a record of 1-0. He's played in 3 games. He started 1 versus the Saints, where they got the 11-2 win last Sunday. Swing and a miss from Backstrom, 0-2 now. Has 8 strikeouts in all his appearances, 2 walks, and only allowed 4 hits. Swing and a miss from Backstrom. And that is the first strikeout there for Morg as he faces just 1 batter.
3-pitch strikeout there for Morg. He's had a good season so far with the Conejo Oaks. One of the lefty aces, and yeah, he's 1-0 on the season so far. That's his 9th strikeout of the season. He's now tied with Val Castrol in strikeouts.
Yeah, he's been one of the stronger pitchers we've seen for the Oaks this summer. Along another guy like Val Castrol. 1-0 now to Williams, who fouls that off to the right. Almost hits Akiyama in the deck. Had to be a little careful there. And Williams is 0 for 1 on the day with a walk that he had in the 3rd inning. Leads the team in runs and hits with 14 hits and 10 runs. 1-1 now to Williams. So he chops that foul and hits off the backstop, and it's now 1-2 to Williams. Williams is also one of the younger guys on this Barons team. He's currently a rising freshman at Santa Ana College. And you talk about a summer where you can really develop. He has put on a show for the Barons all summer long thus far. The 1-2. Williams stays alive with a foul ball.
Yeah, Morge making his 4th appearance on the season. His win was against the Arroyo Seco Saints in that 11-2 win.
The payoff. High and outside for ball 2. Count now even at 2. And if you're just joining us, it's been just a 1-0 game pretty much from the start. It was a Trevor Schmidt solo shot in the 1st inning. So that's in the dirt for a ball now full for Nathaniel Williams.
It's also been one of the more fast-moving games that we've seen. The last 2 games combined, I'd say were well over 7 hours combined worth of baseball. Over 3.5 hours last night against the OC Riptide.
That's inside for a ball as Williams will now walk to first base for his 2nd time today, and that will bring on DJ Akiyama, who is 1 for 2 on the day with a single. So that's back-to-back walks there for Williams, as it's a 1-out walk, bringing on Akiyama, who has one of the now 8 home runs for the Barons this season. Morge gets in there with a strike, 0-1. Pitch goes into the dirt, count now even at 1. And yeah, it's really, we haven't seen any true long innings. The longest inning we've seen thus far was, we saw 5 batters from the Barons come to the plate in the 4th inning, but for both sides, it's been a pretty quiet game. Just 3 total hits in this game as a whole. As that's chopped foul off to the left. So the Oaks right now, they are on a 1-game losing streak, but I wouldn't even call that a streak. But I will say, if you want to feel good, they've yet to lose back-to-back games this season. That's fouled off to the left once again.
Yeah.
Count out even at 2.
And just, they've dropped 2 on the road and 2 at home at this point. Yep. But, yeah, the Oaks certainly, they're in a good spot. They need to just keep their heads up and keep fighting strong.
Here comes the payoff from Morge. That swung on. Fly ball off to the left side. Jimenez is going to get under it. Gets the out. Williams will retreat back to first, and that gets the 2nd out here for the Oaks.
Yeah, certainly has been an efficient 4.5 innings that we've seen so far as Trevor Schmidt steps back up. He's really been the only damage producer for either side in today's game. He had that solo home run in the 1st inning right over the right field fence.
Yeah, added to his home run total. It's now 2 on the season. Well, the Barons came into this game tied in all of the California Collegiate League in home runs with 7. They now have 8 as Williams goes off to second base. Thomas with the throw. Not in time. So a stolen base there for Williams.
Very, very close play at second base there. Williams got a great jump, picked a good pitch to go on, and I think the off-speed was probably the only thing that allowed him to be safe there. It was a quick tag by Brady Hewitt, but not quite in time.
Now his 2nd stolen base of the season as Schmidt chops that foul off just behind home plate. Now he's down in the count 0-2. George sets, fires, outside for a ball. 1-2 now. And the other team is the Walnut Creek Crawdads, who also, I do apologize, they do have 8, so now the Barons have tied. So that's outside for a ball. So the Barons now with that home run have tied for first, as they also have 8 home runs in the season thus far. The Walnut Crawdads also are the owner of the highest scoring game, as they had 24 runs in one game. It's inside for another ball.
I mean, that's
count now full.
That's just crazy town.
Yeah,
24 runs. There was a game years ago where the Rangers scored 30 runs against the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah, we're talking about football type of scoring.
Yeah.
Williams goes off to third as that's popped into the left field. Jimenez attempts to get under. No, that's Hewitt that makes the play. A spectacular over-the-head catch to get out of this inning unscathed. So we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Still a 1-0 lead for the Barons. And it's Brady Hewitt to get things started for the Oaks in the bottom of the 5th inning, as they are facing a 1-0 deficit here to the MLB Academy Barons. And we just saw Hewitt make a spectacular grab, basically going out into shallow left field and over the head. I mean, it looked like there wasn't much communication, but he was able to make the play as he swing and a miss on a first pitch, 0-1.
Yeah, it was a huge play too. If that ball drops, you know, that's another run with Williams easily scoring from second base with the speed. You saw him take off on the pitch with 2 outs.
Williams chops that to Akiyama. He collects, he gets it over to first in time, and there's 1 out.
Now batting number 25, Zach Mora.
So through 4 innings, and now it's Frankie Lopez in his 5th inning of action. It's not very common that we see pitchers go 5 innings. But he has been productive today, as Mora fouls that off behind the field.
Yeah, from what we can tell, he's pitching, he's having his best game, you know, so far. 5 innings, is not allowed to run, and, you know, he's gone, this would be his 13th total inning if he finishes it.
Mora checks his swing and still in there for a strike. So 0-2 now down to Mora. Lopez has retired the last 6 batters he's faced, starting from Kendallinger at the top of the order in the 3rd inning and all the way down here to Hewitt, who just grounded out to short. 0-2 now to Mora. Looks at a strike 3, and he's going to go down in 3 strikes, as that's now Frankie Lopez's 2nd strikeout of the day.
Now batting number 4, Anthony.
Nice pitching by Lopez there, and, you know, for him to pitch as efficiently as he has, you know, we're in the 5th inning here, and, you know, the batters, bottom of the order, just getting their 2nd at-bats.
That's Anthony Thomas who looks at a ball low. So 1-0 now to Thomas. And due up for the Oaks is Ethan Gonzalez, who's the last batter in this order. Thomas takes another ball. And I will say that was something I noticed quite a bit yesterday was there was a lot of strikeouts that the Oaks kind of just let out there. You know, they didn't even swing. We saw a few guys just watch as the strike went right through them. Past them, I should say. So Thomas 0 for 1 today. As he chops that right over Lopez's head, and that's going to roll into center field for a base hit. So a 2-out single there for Anthony Thomas, bringing up now Ethan Gonzalez.
Yeah, good piece of hitting by Thomas, but additionally, you know, that ball off the bat and the way it chopped right over Lopez's head had enough mustard to just go right over the second base bag and go up the middle for a 2-out hit.
Ethan Gonzalez just has a walk on the day, as well as a stolen base in the bottom of the 3rd inning. This is also now just the 2nd hit of the game for the Oaks. Talked about it already, but the Oaks were held to a season low of just 3 hits in their loss yesterday versus the Riptide. 0-1 to Gonzalez. See, he drives that into right field. That's going to drop for another base hit. So back-to-back singles for the Oaks, and they are staying alive here in the bottom of the 5th inning as it's now back to the top of the order with Tommy Kendalinger.
Yeah, great piece of hitting, and yeah, to your point, back-to-back hits, and you see Gonzalez just line the ball right over the head of Chip Mertz. And the Oaks, with a runner in scoring position, a single could bring Thomas home.
It's now the 1st inning today with multiple hits for the Oaks. Kendalinger looks at a strike. So runners in 1st and 2nd. Just a 1-0 lead for the Barons. Still plenty of time to the Oaks for them to get runs of their own. Looks at a ball. 1-1.
Oaks certainly in business, just trailing 1 run. It's been pretty quiet on the day so far since that Trevor Schmidt home run.
That one's popped up into right field, and Klinowski's going to wait for it and makes the 3rd out for the Barons as Lopez leaves 2 stranded, and we head to the top of the 6th as the Barons still with a 1-0 lead. We'll be right back. And we are now 2/3 through this game as the Barons have held on to a 1-0 lead, and it was just the one solo shot home run from Trevor Schmidt in the first inning that has given the Barons just a slight edge here at George Sparky Anderson Field. It's Gavin Taylor up first with Tommy Gooden and Jason Del Villar due up next for the Barons, as Taylor is 0 for 1 on the day with a walk. 1-0 to Taylor. Takes a ball upstairs, now 2-0.
Daniel Morge in his second inning of work. We have seen him quite successful this summer. Mentioned 1-0 on the season, and you know, Alex Umland had a good day on the mound too. Just allowed the one home run to Trevor Schmidt.
It's in there for a strike. Now 2-1 to Taylor. Yeah, you're right, Alex Umland. He had a good day with 3 strikeouts. So yeah, really just that solo shot that's the big difference today right now, as that's low for a ball. Now 3-1 to Taylor. And the Yokes had a little bit of offense the bottom of the 5th inning. They had 2 singles, 2 back-to-back singles, yet could not convert those into runs, as that's in there for a ball 4, and another leadoff walk to begin the 6th inning for the Barons.
We'll see if this time the Barons, if they can capitalize. You know, just a 1-run lead. No lead is safe against the Oaks.
Taylor has now had, in his 2 plate appearances, he's now had leadoff walks to begin the innings. It's now Tommy Gooden, who is 0 for 2 on the day. Second on the team in batting average at .429 as he looks at a ball outside. If you're just joining us, I'm Jude O'Connors, joined alongside Sammy Fawn here on a beautiful Saturday afternoon in Thousand Oaks, California. One slapped over the left stands for a foul ball. 2-1 now to Gooden. Runner on first, no outs for the Oaks. Gooden looks at a strike, now 2-2.
Nice slider there. Got good movement on those pitches from Daniel Morge. It's easy for a hitter to get thrown by those.
One's popped up foul off to the left. Goes over the left side stands here at George Sparky Anderson Field. So count now even at 2 for Gooden, who's 0 for 2 on the day. Off goes Taylor as that one's ripped into center field. Kendalinger backs up a little bit and makes the play for the first out.
Well, Daniel Morge played high school ball locally just around the corner at Thousand Oaks High School. Committed to Ventura College in 2024.
So that brings up Jason Del Villar for the 3rd time today. He is 0 for 1 on the day with a walk. Inside for a ball. Morge goes back to the slider, just doesn't get into the strike zone that time. 1-0 now to Del Villar. That hits him in the left thigh, and he will take a walk to first. That's the first batter hit today for the Oaks.
And I believe that's the longest we've seen into a game without a batter getting hit.
Yeah, it was I don't want to call it an epidemic, but it happened quite a bit in the first few games for both sides, both the Oaks and the opponent they faced. Yeah, it's definitely come down a little bit, but yeah, that's now we're into the 6th inning. First hit by pitch. Now runners on first and second. It's Jacob Klinowski. Looks at a strike on the outside corner. He is 0 for 2 on the day. Grounded out to second his first time, and then it was a ground out to first his second time. 1-1 to Klinowski.
Barons again in business here in this top of the 6th inning. They had a couple runners on in the fourth and didn't score.
Count 2-1 to Klinowski with Chip Mertz due up next. Swing and a miss for Klinowski. Count now even at 2. That one's just tip fouled by Klinowski to stay alive here. Count now still at 2-2.
Well, it's a time for Klinowski to battle Morge and make him work for not only his own pitches, but Klinowski is looking to get his pitch that he can put in play, possibly bring a run home.
Klinowski rips that right to Gonzalez. He's going to pitch it over to Hugh. Turns it for 2. They do. There's a double play right there for the Oaks to get out of the inning as they head into the bottom of the 6th, still trailing just a 1-0 lead by the Barons. We'll be right back. Head to the bottom of the 6th inning with Jax Jimenez now getting things started for the Oaks, who just trail 1-0 here to the Barons, and it was a double play, a 4-6-3 to get out of the 6th inning. That was now the 9th double play for the Oaks this season. Inside for a ball. Jimenez today is 0 for 2. Grounded out his first time and popped out to right field. Another ball inside now, 2-0 to Jimenez.
Yeah, Jimenez is a guy who now he has 4 hits on the season. A bat that is certainly playing some significant roles for the Oaks as the season has progressed.
Looks at another ball outside. It's 3-0 for Jimenez. Now this is Frankie Lopez entering his 6th action of work. 6th inning of work, I should say, as that's low for ball 4, a 4-pitch walk as Jimenez will get on base for the first time today.
He's a guy who can run, so him to lead off getting on base, that could be crucial for the Conejo Oaks to get that start of a rally going.
It's now a season high of innings pitched right now for Frankie Lopez. Has pitched 4 innings in both games he's appeared in. Just hits the outside corner for a strike. Just a tad outside the strike zone, according to our TrackMan. But Lopez has been dealing today. No question about that. He's on the mound here. 0-1. Danielitz looks at a ball. 1-1 now.
Yeah, Danielitz. We talked about him yesterday. He was definitely the loudest bat at the plate for the Conejo Oaks.
Looks at another ball as it's now 2-1. And so that leadoff walk right there from Jimenez was now the first time that the first batter, or the leadoff man for the Oaks in an inning, has reached base. 2-1. Danielitz gets a good piece of that off into the right field, and Konofsky just reaches out his left arm to make the catch. 1 out for the Oaks.
Almost bordering on a shoestring catch there. I mean, Konofsky just sunk his glove super low to get that ball as just before it hit the ground.
Brings up Devin Wilkes, who is 0 for 2 on the day, batting .273 this season with 6 hits. One of 2 players in the Oaks there. Off goes Kendlinger as Wilkes rips that into left field, and as Del Villar gets under it to get the second out, and Kendlinger will retreat back to first base. So a 1 pitch out there for Wilkes for the second time today.
Yeah, Frankie Lopez just continues to have productive innings. In 6 innings, that is the most innings that he has thrown and the most innings that we have seen a CCL pitcher throw this season in a game.
Yeah, it's started off with just 4 innings for pitchers. Saw a few guys pitch 5 innings, but yeah, you're right, Sammy. 6 innings is the most we've seen a guy play.
And with that being said, there is action in the Barons bullpen, so that is sort of indicating that Lopez is nearing the end of his performance for the day.
Nolan Johnson at the plate now for the Oaks as he looks at a ball outside. So 2 down for the Barons. It was a leadoff walk by Jax Jimenez. It's been 2 straight retired batters since. 1-0 to Johnson. Another check at first base. So just 3 total hits right now for the Oaks. It's only been 2 hits for the Barons. And they just hold a 1-0 lead. 1-0 to Johnson. Off goes Jimenez to second. The throw is not in time as Taylor's throw behind the dish just a little high for Akiyama as he had to go upstairs to grab that one and take his foot off the bag. So a stolen base there for Jimenez. Now puts a runner in scoring position for the Oaks.
Yeah, and to Jimenez's credit, he got a good jump, but had that throw been more online, it could have been closer for sure.
So 1-1 to Johnson. So he slices that foul off to the right. Now 1-2. The Oaks a few times have had guys in running scoring position, but most notably was Johnson in the second inning when he hit a triple over to right center field. And he was on third base, and after him was 2 straight batters retired by Lopez to get out of the inning. So he just fouls that back to the backstop. Count still remains 1-2 with Brady Hewitt, I should say, due up next. Frankie Lopez, his 3rd appearance today, posting a 1.12 ERA before this game. Johnson pops that into just shallow right field as Schmidt is going to get under it and records the 3rd out. So it's another missed opportunity with a runner on base for the Oaks, and we head to the top of the 7th as the Barons still hold their 1-0 lead. We head into the 7th inning as we are 2/3 through this game here at George Sparky Anderson Field. I'm Judo Canis alongside Sammy Fawn here on some Saturday afternoon action in the California Collegiate League as it's the Barons atop 1-0 here in the 5th meeting between the Oaks and the Barons. And we have a pitching change for the 2nd time today for the Oaks. It is Gabe Howard, the rising sophomore at Oregon, making his first appearance this summer for the Oaks. As there's a bunt laid down by Chip Mertz as Howard gets under it. And the throw is in time. So 1 pitch, 1 out to begin his first action here for the Oaks this summer.
And Howard getting some early defensive action, making a good impression there. He fielded that ball pretty quickly, and that bunt by Mertz was just not nearly as good as Akiyama's bunt earlier.
You know, we've seen a few good bunts in the most recent days by the opponents of the Oaks. Brings up Hunter Backstrom, who was 0 for 2 on the day with a strikeout and a ground out to third base. As that's a ball that gets past Thomas. 1-0. Howard was the #1 right-handed pitcher in all of Oregon according to Prep Baseball Report in 2024. He saw action in 5 games for the Ducks this past season. It's outside for a ball. Posted a 5.87 ERA with allowing 8 hits, 5 runs, 5 of those being earned. Had just 1 strikeout. Won 3 consecutive state titles in high school for Westland High School. Had a total of 101 strikeouts in his career in 3 seasons. 3-0 to Backstrom. 1 out for the Oaks here in the 7th inning. That's just fouled off to the back netting.
Last summer, Howard played for the Springfield Drifters of the West Coast Collegiate Baseball League.
I will say, I think my favorite part about the summer ball is all the unique names you get to hear. 3-1 to Backstrom. Swing and a miss. Down goes. Oh. It's a full count now for Backstrom. Got a little ahead of myself right there. But it's now full count as Backstrom looking for his first hit today and Howard looking for his first strikeout today. Swing and a miss. Down goes Backstrom, and there's his first strikeout. As it's now 2 down for the Oaks.
Yeah, Howard went to the off speed there. And Backstrom, saw that ball. Looks like a strike out of Howard's hands, and then the bottom just falls from it. And it drops about halfway to the dirt.
I was just foreshadowing with my strikeout call with just 1 strike. Now it's 2 down for the Oaks as we're back to the top of the order with Nathaniel Williams 0 for 1 today with a pair of walks as he looks at a strike. So the Barons just leading 1-0, the only run of the day coming in the top of the 1st inning on a solo shot by Trevor Schmidt. Swing and a miss as Johnson goes down to his knees. 0-2 now for Williams. So an opportunity here for the Oaks to get out of the inning unscathed. High for a ball. It's a fastball of 92 miles per hour. One of the more faster pitchers we've seen for the Oaks this summer.
Certainly has. He's bringing the heat out of the bullpen, that right-handed arm.
Here comes the payoff from Howard. Just fouls that off to the left. Williams stays alive here. And this is a good matchup right here. Howard, a Division I player, and Williams been the hottest bat for the Barons all season long. 1-2 now to Williams. That's upstairs for another ball. Count now even at 2. The Oaks looking to get back on track and back to their winning ways after a 14-3 loss versus the Orange County Riptide last night on the road. As Williams rips that into left field. It's a high fly ball, but Jimenez gets under it for the 3rd out as Howard, in his first appearance, retires the side, and we head to the bottom of the 7th. But we'll take a quick 7th inning stretch. We'll be right back after this. There is now a pitching change as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning, and it's Frankie Lopez's day over. So it was quite the day on the mound. He allowed 0 runs, just a total of 3 hits, long to go with 2 strikeouts. And so up now for the Barons is Amari Yolis, the sophomore at Cypress College, making now his 2nd appearance of the day, or the season, I should say. Last appeared on the 4-3 loss versus San Diego Bombers on June 17th, where he pitched a total of just 1 inning, allowed 1 run and 1 hit, had a strikeout and 2 walks in the 6 batters he faced, as he gets one in there for a strike on Brady Hewitt, now making his 2nd appearance of the day. He is 0 for 2. That's low and outside for a ball. 1-1 now.
Yeah, Amari Yolis has played at LA Valley College his freshman year, and then most recently Cypress College in 2025.
Gets that in for a strike. That was a great frame job right there by Taylor, as it's now 1-2 to Hewitt. That's in there for strike 3, as Brady Hewitt is caught looking at that one, and it's a first strikeout, first batter faced for Mariolis.
It's a good start for Yolis. Gets Hewitt looking there. Now faces Zach Mora.
Yeah, Yolis played his high school ball at Palisades. He was actually a 3-sport athlete. He played baseball, football, and track. So he gets that in for another strike.
All great sports at Pali High School.
Certainly. Oh, 0-1 now to Mora. Looks at a strike in the inside corner of the strike zone. Yolis was the 2022 to 2023 Outstanding Senior Athlete, was also first team All-City a senior season, as well as Western League MVP. As that's ripped foul by Mora, now 0-2. He was the team MVP in football as well, so he is decorated in a lot of sports that he played. Also delivered the first City Open Division Championship for Palisades since the 1980s, as that one is a fly ball, shallow, as Akiyama's going to get under it, and that's now 2 down for the Barons.
Well, Yolis working some quick outs here in the 7th inning for the Barons. Anthony Thomas has a hit for the Oaks. That was back in the 5th inning when it was Thomas and Gonzalez who had back-to-back singles.
Just a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the 7th. Just outside for a strike. (1-0) to Thomas. Slider misses outside for ball 2. And got to give credit to Frankie Lopez, who has now put the Barons in a great situation. 6 scoreless innings he pitched. Swing and a miss for Thomas, now 2-1. And he worked that fastball at 93 miles per hour. So still a neck and neck game with just a 1-run lead for the Barons. That's in there for a second strike. Count runs even at 2. I'll say there's a good amount of Barons fans that traveled up from Compton, California today.
Yeah, they certainly got a good crowd, good noise coming from the stands.
Thomas looks at a ball upstairs. Count now full. 2 outs for the Barons here. Barons looking for their first road win of the season. They are currently 0-5 on the road. Yolas with the payoff. It's in there for strike 3, and so his first inning, he gets 2 strikeouts, retires the side, and we head to the 8th inning. Barons still holding on to a 1-0 lead. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we head to the final 2 innings here at George Sparky Anderson Field, as it is just a narrow 1-0 lead for the Barons. And the Oaks back with another pitching change to begin this inning. It is now Tate Foxen, the sophomore at Butler University, making his second appearance this season for the Oaks. He appeared in 2 innings in their 11-2 win versus the Saints last Sunday, where he allowed just 1 run, 3 hits, struck out 1 in the 9 batters he faced. That's outside for a ball. He's got quite the windup.
And he's also got quite the velocity. That and great command of the strike zone.
And that one's popped up right to Moore, as he will get the first out of the inning. So a quick out there for Foxen. And now his third inning of work.
Still just a 1-0 ball game. It's been a pitcher's duel collectively today.
This game's certainly in reach for the Oaks. It's just their bats will have to come alive. So he gets that slider to hit the outside corner of the strike zone, and 0-1 now to Trevor Schmidt, who is the owner of the only run today with a solo shot in the first inning. Looks at a ball outside. That one was 96.
Whew. That's some big league stuff.
You know, I'm curious. I wonder what the fastest pitch we've seen this summer is. Has to. I imagine 96 is a swing and a miss there from Schmidt.
Certainly tough to beat.
It's another 96. And I'm told that the fastest pitch we've seen was 97 from Tate Foxen himself, as it's another swing and a miss down for his first strikeout. And Schmidt walks back to the dugout laughing as he just could not touch that 97, or 96, I should say.
Yeah, it's always those off-speeders that are the most mind-boggling to miss.
Especially when it's a good job by the pitcher when he can realize, like, he can go to the off-speed, especially when you're throwing 96 miles per hour and the batter is, after back-to-back 96-mile-per-hour balls, he can almost expect it. Brings up Gavin Taylor for now the fourth time today. He is 0 for 1 with a pair of walks. It's just a 1-0 lead, but the Oaks have not been able to capitalize. Taylor looks at a strike. That one was a 95 mile per hour fastball. 1-1. Foxen deals. And there for another strike. 1-2. So back-to-back 95 mile per hour pitches here from Foxen. It's an opportunity to get his second strikeout right here. Here comes the payoff. Got him swinging for the third strikeout, and we head to the bottom of the 8th inning as Foxen retires the side, and an opportunity for the Oaks to take the lead. We'll be right back. We're back here for the 8th inning as just 2 innings left for the Oaks to try to come back in this one as they face a 1-0 deficit here as we are here on a Saturday afternoon of Week 3 California Collegiate League action. It's Ethan Gonzalez and the 9-hole to get things started. He is 1 for 1 of the day with a single and a walk. He looks at a ball. And it's just been 3 total hits this game for the Oaks. 0 runs to show for. Gonzalez takes a slider strike. Counts now at 1-1. Due up next for the Oaks is Tommy Kendlinger and Jax Jimenez. That's in there for another strike as Gonzalez tries to check his swing, but in there for a strike regardless. Now 1-2 to Gonzalez. And it's really any man's game right now as the Oaks just face a 1-0 deficit, and really a swing of the bat could change a lot of things. There's strike 3 as Ethan Gonzalez is caught looking, and he'll head back to the dugout as that is Amari Yolis' now 3rd straight strikeout.
Yeah, his 3rd strikeout of the day, and Gonzalez on that off speed just caught off balance. Looked like a drop to the low part of the zone.
Brings back to the top of the order. Tommy Kendlinger looks at a strike. And so in the 4 batters Yolas has faced, he has struck out 3 of them. 0-1. That's in the dirt for a ball. Count now at 1-1.
Yeah, Kendlinger so far hitless on the day. He has hit the ball in the air each time, and the Oaks, like you said, it's anybody's game. Chasing 1 run.
That's up and out inside for another ball. And so the past 7 Oaks batters have all been retired in a combination between Lopez and Yolas. 1-1 to Kendlinger. 2-1. Looks at another strike. 2-2 now. Comes the payoff from Yolas. As that one's just broken into the center field as that's going to drop for a base hit. So Kendlinger is a 1-out single.
Now batting number 47.
He represents the tying run on first, and he has great speed. And if the Oaks can get a couple runs here, they can decrease the chances of there being a bottom of the 9th inning to this game, but they're going to have to score.
So it's Jack Jimenez up for the Oaks. Looks at a ball low. That's now also the first hit allowed by Amari Yolas today. 1-0. Inside for another ball. 2-0 now to Jimenez. The Oaks looking for what could be their 4th win of the season versus the Barons, and the Barons looking for their 2nd. Jimenez cracks that into center field. Backstrom backs up. He has to run towards the wall, and he is not able to make the play as it drops out of his glove. Here comes Kendlinger as he rounds the bases to 3rd, and Jax Jimenez is off to 2nd. And a much-needed play right there from Jax Jimenez, and got a little help from Hunter Backstrom, who dropped the ball out in center field.
Yeah, I think that was a misread out there in left center field by Hunter Backstrom. I think he took his first step in. What the biggest thing you're told as an outfielder, first step back, especially when the ball is over your head. And he came in, and once he saw that the ball was over his head, he kind of got frazzled a little bit and had to backtrack quickly. And he got to the ball, but did not get it off the right part of his glove. Hit about right off the heel, right in between, and just couldn't hang on. And that could be a costly play for the MLB Academy Barons.
Now it's a mound visit from all of the infield, and the pitching coach for the Barons, which is AJ Monarez. But a big opportunity here with just 1 out. The Oaks have an opportunity to take their first lead, and it's the guy that you would want on the plate right now. That's Lucas Danuwitz. He is 0 for 3 today, but did have a triple last night. As he looks at a ball in the dirt. It's 1-0.
The infield is in for the Barons, anticipating a play at home.
So it's Tommy Kendlinger on 3rd base and Jax Jimenez on 2nd. So it's 1-0 to Lucas Danuwitz. Swing and a miss. 1-1 now. So it's the first real traffic we've seen Barron's pitchers face today. 1-1 now to Daniewicz. Looks at the ball up and outside, 2-1. And it's just a 1-0 lead for the Barons here in the bottom of the 8th inning. So the Oaks have an opportunity. Daniewicz just gets that over the infield. He's going to go in for a basic. Here comes Tommy Kendlinger, and there's the tying run at the plate as it's an RBI single, and we got a tie ball game here.
Well, goes back to that error by Backstrom, just building confidence and momentum in the Oaks' favor, and Daniewicz gets a pitch on the outer part of the plate that he can get enough of the bat on to drive out to right field and score the tying run.
Now up comes is Devin Wilkes, 0 for 3 on today, but we know he has the power to send one long as he has one of the 2 home runs of the season for the Oaks. Runners at the corner, just 1 out for the Barons. Taking a quick stoppage time, we're back into action, and so an RBI single by Daniewicz right there now ties the game at 1. It's now Wilkes' turn. Swings at the first pitch, fouls that off to the left. 0-1 to Wilkes. Wilkes currently batting .273 on the season with 6 hits as well as 3 RBIs. 0-1. Fouls that off to the backstop. 0-2.
Yeah, certainly a guy who can do some damage and, you know, talk about game-changing plays. I mean, Backstrom, a very talented center fielder, has got great athletic ability, but just had a moment where he came up short.
And in a 1-0 game, now a 1-1 game, that can make all the difference. 0-2 now to Wilkes, runners at the corners. That's low and outside for a ball. Now 1-2 to Wilkes. Yolis, who retired the first 4 batters he faced, is now up against it. 1-2 to Wilkes. Swing and a miss. Down goes Wilkes for the 4th strikeout from Yolis. 2 outs for the Barons. Bringing up Nolan Johnson now.
Boy, that is great comeback pitching right there from Amari Yolis. And, you know, he kept his head in there. He was aware of who was at the plate and how dangerous Wilkes can be, but just kept battling him and got him to strike out. That can build momentum in his favor.
Up comes Nolan Johnson. He is 1 for 3 on the day. His first at-bat was a triple. As he looks at a strike. 0-1.
Well, you can just hear this Barons crowd right there rooting for Yolis and just hyping him up.
Runners at the corner, 2 outs for the Barons. It's Johnson, 0-1. Off goes Daniewicz to second. There's going to be no throw as Daniewicz slides safely into second. It's going to be a stolen base, and now 2 runners in scoring position for the Oaks.
Nolan Johnson has a chance to give the Oaks some insurance with a hit.
We know he has the power, leads the team in batting average at .538, has 7 hits on the season. The 1-1. Looks at a ball just outside. Taylor tried to frame that. We've seen him a few times. He's been able to frame those pitches to get them called strikes, but right there is not successful to do it. 2-1. 2 outs for the Barons. Runners on second and third. It's Daniewicz at second. It's Jimenez at third. As Johnson fouls that high off to the right. That's going to go over the Barons dugout, roll into the parking lot here at Kowloon. So we got a good one here in the bottom of the 8th inning. It was a RBI single from Lucas Daniewicz that brought in Tommy Kendlinger for the tying run. It's 1-1 here. Swing and a miss from Johnson. Down he goes as Yolis works out of the traffic and is able just to allow 1 run. We head to the top of the 9th. It's tie ball game, 1-1. And we head into the 9th inning as it is a tie ball game here, 1-1. It was a Lucas Danuitz RBI single that brought in the tying run, Tommy Kendalinger, in the bottom of the 8th inning. As Tate Foxen begins his 2nd inning of action. And it's Tommy Gooden, the designated hitter, with Jason Del Villar and Jacob Klinowski due up next, 1-0. That's high and outside for ball 2. Foxen retired the side in the top of the 8th inning with 2 strikeouts, 2-0 to Gooden. Gooden cracks that into left field as that's just going to run foul off to the left side.
Yeah, that ball just kept twisting.
So 2-1 to Gooden. This game was 1-0 for pretty much 8 innings on a solo shot from Trevor Schmidt over the right field fence. 2-1 to Gooden. Gets another good crack at it, but that's fouled off to the left once again. Count now even at 2.
Certainly going to have been a good pitching matchup on the day. And you want to talk about matching up with pitching. I mean, Amari Yolas, he did a heck of a job on the mound.
Swing and a miss for Gooden as the 3rd straight strikeout there for Foxen. As that now brings up Jason Del Villar.
Now batting, number 23, Jason Del
Del Villar, he was hit by pitches last time up.
Yeah, he's been hit by a pitch, he's walked, and he's also popped out to right field. So he's seeking his first hit. Currently 4th on the team with 9 hits this season. That's low for a ball. So Foxen has now retired 4 straight batters. 1-0 to Del Villar. Swing and a miss. 1-2, 1-1. Del Villar fouls that off. Just hits the top of the netting here.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever quite seen that happen before, where it just hits off the top and curves up after hitting the netting and lands on the roof.
1-2 to Del Villar. As Foxen gets ready to deal. Outside for a ball. Now count runs even at 2. It's been a good one here on some Saturday California Collegiate League action. 2-2 to Del Villar. He just chops that foul to stay alive. One out for the Oaks. Jacob Klinowski and Chip Mertz due up next for the Barons. Barons looking to get their first win on the road as they've lost their first 5 road matches. 2-2. And that's in there for strike 3. So now 4 straight strikeouts for Tate Foxen, an opportunity to put away the side here for the Barons and give the Oaks an opportunity to win at the bottom of the 9th inning. So it's Jacob Klinowski now at the plate. The slider just misses. 1-0 to Klinowski. Fouls that off to the backstop now. 1-1.
Call last week, Klinowski last Wednesday had that home run against the Oaks. One of 3 now that the Oaks have given up this season.
Klinowski looked to check his swing, and no call from the umpire just yet. Coach David Solis now coming out of the dugout to have a conversation with the home plate umpire as he walks him back to the dugout. Now he collects his freshly minted baseballs, and still no call on if it was a strike or a ball.
Yeah, it almost sounded like it may have gotten the knob of the bat.
Well, they're going to register it as a ball, so 2-1 to Klinowski. Low for ball 3. So the 2-2 here from Foxen. That one's cracked foul off to the left. Count now even at 2. Foxen shakes off the call and looking for the right pitch. Winds up, gets ready to deliver. Swing and a miss, but it's a live ball as Foxen tosses it over to third, and there's the retired side for the second straight inning by Tate Foxen. As we head to the bottom of the 9th inning, and the Oaks with an opportunity to win it. And it's a tie ball game as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. It is 1-1 Oaks Barons. And this one has lined up to be a good one as it's Brady Hewitt to get things started. The bottom of the 9th inning. An opportunity for the Oaks to win it as they went the first 7 innings scoreless, and an RBI single from Lucas Daniewicz brought in the tying run. Hewitt 0 for 3 today, and on the mound is Hudson La Barar. That one's chopped foul, sorry. Hudson La Barbera for the Barons. He's now making his 4th appearance. He's pitched 4 total innings, 4 strikeouts, 5 walks, and 2 hits. As Hewitt looks at a strike. 0-2 now. With Zach Mora and Anthony Thomas due up next for the Oaks.
A chance for the Oaks to win in exciting fashion.
Hewitt grounds that to short as Akiyama gets under it, fires at the first. Throw is in time. 1 down for the Barons.
Now batting, number 25.
The difference maker in this game, as it is right now, the error in center field by Backstrom. One play, one mistake.
Comes Zach Mora, who is 0 for 3 on the day. That's going to hit Mora in the back as he walks over to first for his first time on the bases, and now that puts the go-ahead run on base.
Well, that's a good energy riser for the Conejo Oaks. You could hear that they were all very excited about that one, and Mora at first representing the winning run.
Brings up Anthony Thomas, who is 1 for 3 on the day, with a single. Mora at first base. Thomas looks at a strike. Hudson Law Barbera, a sophomore at Sonoma State University. 0-1 to Thomas. Looks at a ball outside, count now 1-1. Barons looking to end their road skid. Last lost 5. It's a check at first base. Moore slides back safely. And the Oaks looking back to get to winning ways after a tough 14-3 loss. Another check at first. Mora gets back in time. Ethan Gonzalez due up next now for the Oaks. It's a 1-1 count to Thomas. Thomas looks at another ball outside the strike zone. Now 2-1. Thomas getting his first start since June 8th. It's 2 Sundays ago now for the Oaks. 2-1. Another ball outside. Count now 3-1. And the crowd has come alive here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Tied at 1-1. 3-1 here to Thomas. Takes another ball outside, and that's his first walk of the day, as now brings up Ethan Gonzalez. And now it's a real opportunity right here.
Well, Gonzalez, he's 1 for 2 on the day with a single. He's also walked, and a single right here could win this game.
Yeah, Moore certainly has the speed, as it's now a mound visit here. From AJ Monarez, as well as the catcher Gavin Taylor. And Isaac Veal now coming in as the pinch runner at second base for the Oaks. And that's just a little bit more speed there on second base. Has 2 stolen bases on the year. It has breakaway speed, which could become very important if Gonzalez gets any sort of ball into the outfield. It's the first pitch here to Gonzalez. Runners on first and second. Looks at a strike, 0-1.
I wonder if the Barons are sensing a bunt coming from Gonzalez. He did not show any indication of that on the first pitch, but anything could happen.
Just one out for the Barons. Gonzalez just looks on a ball on the outside part of the strike zone. Counts now 1-1. Tommy Kendlinger due up next for the Oaks. Looks at another ball outside, 3-1.
Last thing LaBarbera wants to do here is walk another batter and then load the bases, or, you know, if you're going to get beat, you want to get beat by getting hit, you know, or have the batters hit your pitches.
And that's inside for ball 4, or ball 3. I apologize.
Second straight 3-1 count that we've seen from LaBarbera on the mound.
So the 3-1 to Gonzalez. Thomas on first as he just fouls that off to the left with great power.
Yeah, nice swing by Gonzalez. He's got a full count now. Pressure on both Gonzalez and LaBarbera.
Can't ask for much more here on a Saturday afternoon of California Collegiate League baseball action, as it's 1-1 at the bottom of the 9th inning. Full count to Gonzalez. Off goes the runners. That's high and upstairs for a ball, so base is loaded, and it's Tommy Kendlinger with an opportunity here for the Oaks. So it's Isaac Veal on third base, Anthony Thomas on second, and Ethan Gonzalez at first. And Tommy Kendlinger, who had a double in the 8th inning, was also the tying run that was brought in by the RBI single from Daniewicz. The infield is in. Kendlinger fouls that off to the right.
He was ready to fire away right away.
And the Oaks will really take anything right here from Kendlinger.
A deep enough fly ball will do the job. Infield is up for the Barons.
0-1. It's high for ball 1, now 1-1. And with every pitch, it gets a little more intense at George Sparky Anderson Field, as the Oaks fans know what's at stake here. 1-1. Kendlinger sends that over the first baseman. That's going to drop for a hit, and here comes Veal, and it's a walk-off single from Tommy Kendlinger, and the Oaks are back in the win column.
Boy, what an exciting finish there. And for Kendlinger, his second hit of the game, a walk-off RBI, finishes the game 2 for 5.
And that's got to feel good for the Oaks, who, after a tough loss, 14-3, are able to get back in the win column for their 8th win of the season, while the Barons now drop their 6th road game and remain winless on the road. And we will bring you into the booth. And Sammy, what a game. It brought us all the excitement, and you got to start with what happened in Lucas Daniewicz in the 8th inning that really brought this game to even a conversation in the 9th inning. It was an RBI single to bring the tie-in run. What did you see from the resilience of the Oaks today?
Well, the Oaks fed off of mistakes, both on defense and on the mound. You know, in the 8th inning, it was that error by Hunter Backstrom that, you know, allowed the Oaks to just continue building momentum on that fly ball. And then, you know, with 2 runners in scoring position and 1 out and down by just 1, Daniewicz didn't try to do too much, just took the pitch to right field. And same thing with Tommy Kendlinger. You know, Hudson LaBarbera hit a guy and walked 2. And then, you know, with bases loaded, 1 out, you're not trying to hit a home run. You're just trying to get a good enough pitch, if applicable, and drive it to where, you know, either the fielders aren't or good enough to hit a run. And the Oaks did just that, and they're now 8-4, yeah, as you said, back in the win column.
Yeah, certainly. It was one of those games where the Oaks really, they couldn't really find offense through the first 7 innings. You know, they were scoreless. Frankie Lopez did a great job on the mound for the Barons, but It was really those just small little things. It was just a one-run lead for pretty much most of this game and off the solo shot from Trevor Schmidt. But the Oaks will be back on it on Sunday. That is tomorrow, 1:05. They'll be taking a road trip down south at the MLB Youth Academy as they'll play the MLB Academy Barons for the second to last time. Alongside Sammy Fawn, I'm Judo Kanyas, and the rest of our Conejo Oaks crew, we say have a good rest of your Saturday afternoon, and we will see you tomorrow on Sunday.